Try this again. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, today we're flying out the P-51 D-20. And I'm sorry guys, I cannot hide it any longer. I am most definitely an American main. They just kind of present a very unique challenge to me in this game. Because they are great aircraft if you have the skills to back them up, if you have the discipline to back them up. They are not a beginner-friendly aircraft. The P-51 specifically, I would not recommend to any new player. The P-51H, maybe. But the D-5, the D-20, the D-10, the D-30 would wholeheartedly not recommend. Not to any new player asking what American plane they should fly. I would recommend the P-63s, the P-38s, and even the P-47s over this aircraft. The main reason being that this plane is kind of the opposite of the Piramersky. It is master of one and jack of all trades of other things. It is insanely high speed performance aircraft, but everything else is kind of just average, whereas the Piramersky is opposite. The Piramersky is above average in everything besides the speed department. In this plane, knowledge is power. If you do not know your aircraft or the aircraft you are fighting, you will lose 9 times out of 10. If you do not manage to get yourself in a good position, you will lose. As you can see here, I'm above these guys. I have plenty much energy than all these guys combined. And I'm going to go for the Zero first because I don't want him behind me. Zeros are very hard to shake off even with energy, and the longer you leave them alive, the harder they are to deal with. Especially as your allied teammates get shot down, it just becomes a cluster. And they're really annoying. And this is honestly a textbook cleanup. I mean, any aircraft can really do this. You could do this in the Spitfire, you could have done this in a Zero, you could have done this in a 109. But this is where this aircraft really shines, because this is what it's great at. It's great at slashing attacks. Precision, you have to know where to put your plane at all times in this aircraft. You can compare it to something like, let's say, a 109. The 109 is more like a hammer. You can go in and get stuff done. 20 mils will shred anything. This one you have to be a bit more methodical. You have to play slow. You have to bide your time. And quite frankly, you have to run a lot. And this is one aspect where your aircraft knowledge really comes into play. I'm in a P-51 D-20, obviously. That's a Yak 3P. And we're at 4,500 meters. And he wants to shoot me down. Obviously, I want to shoot him down. So, I'm not going to dive out. I'm not. I got this guy by myself. And if he wants to follow me, I'm just going to go up. I already have more energy in him, so I'm just going to go up. And the thing is, as we go up, my performance in my engine will slowly start creeping so much higher than his. Eventually, his engine will no longer be able to output enough horsepower to even turn with me. I will outturn this Yak 3 in a kind of short dogfight because I've positioned this fight in my element. Now granted, this isn't going to happen very often. This only happened once or twice in the entirety of me playing this, getting close with this plane. But it goes to show you that knowledge really is power. If I know where to put my plane, and I know where the enemy planes don't like to be put, I can use that to my advantage. And honestly, to do well in this aircraft, you have to quantify it, you have to be between 25 to 33% better than the enemy players. Not necessarily because the planes are just better, it's because other planes just fit the dynamic of War Thunder a hell of a lot better. The War Thunder ARB is more focused on the dogfight. It's not focused on the tactical or strategic situations, and that's why these American planes struggle. Because the American planes were built on the tactical strategic situations, not just the one-on-one dogfights. And as you can see, wholeheartedly, so much more energy in this guy. I'm going to shortly be outturning him. He can't even pull up. He really should be diving out by now, but if he does dive out, I will still catch him because the P-51's dive speed will reach up to 800 kilometers an hour, and his grip speed is about 670, 700. And as you can see, more of my textbook aim. Pilot snipe, he's done. On to the next match. Now, we got here a really fun match. We got a full down tier, which the P51 order being 4.0. You can imagine how fun this can be. Full down tier. I'm above the entire enemy team. And it is just a complete turkey shoot. These guys cannot touch me. I climb just as well as all of them do. I go faster than all of them, and you can actually, surprisingly enough, you can actually turn with a 1.9 F4 in this thing. I would not recommend it. I would only use it as a last resort, but you can turn with them. It's just, they will eventually out-energy you, and that's where the problems begin. Once this thing becomes low speed, it can no longer pull as much as it could between 400 or 500 kilometers an hour, and that's where the 1.9s will eventually start outperforming you quite handily. So we got another 1.9, and we got an RA 2001 below us. I want to go for this 1.9 because he's the highest. You know, classic textbook, work your way from the top down to the bottom. Safety. But this guy, he's diving. He's going to be a problem. I don't want this RA 2000 behind me, so I'm switching targets immediately. And I'm going with this RA 2000 4000 because he is a lot more maneuverable. I don't want him on my 6. Okay, single shot. He goes up in flames. And this is where we kind of just collect ourselves. We see we still have energy over everybody in the match, but this 1.9 still has our altitude and he's facing us. And that's another big problem that this plane has. If people are paying attention to you, it's a lot harder to kill them than if they're not. And that really goes for any plane, but this plane especially, because it cannot adapt very well to changes in situations. It is very much a predatory sort of vulture rat fighter. It is not so much a frontline get everything done at once fighter. And we're just gonna keep calm, keep our speed, and eventually this 1.9 will lose track of us. But as we're doing this, I see there's a 1.9 stalling about a kilometer below me. And this is kind of a risky play to give my energy up to kill this 1.9. But I know that if I do, I will have so much speed I can still get away from this 1.9 that's behind me. So I'm going to go for the easy target. We are outnumbered, and I'm going to get these numbers down. Another thing that this plane cannot really deal with, it's not a very good carrying plane. It can carry, especially if you have a teammate that's working well with you, but by itself, it is just extremely hard. It just doesn't quite mesh with what you need it to do. 1.9 goes for the Hurricane. I'm just happen to be in the right spot, right place, at the right time. Now I'm going to go help the Sea Hurricane out. I'm not expecting the Hurricane to do much because it is a 3.0 match. And we all know that our teammates are never as good as we want them to be. We got a 1.9 and a 190 below us. And they're all going to push ahead on with this Hurricane. I'm diving in. I'm going to shoot at these distracted 190s, these aircraft. He's going to go on fire. I may have kill stall that. I'm sorry, Hurricane, did not mean to. And then we're going to loop on over for this very slow 1.9, and we're going to light him on fire with a little tickle. And as you can see, my aim is actually kind of half decent this match for once, you know. See, look, I didn't spend that much ammo on that guy. Alright, so now we're kind of caught at a disadvantage. I got my smoke on because I'm getting cocky for obvious reasons. I got a 190 diving on me. He has more energy. That can be a problem. That was a very close dodge. I should have dodged a little better. Now, I know I can easily catch this guy, so I'm not worried about my speed. I'm more worried about staying behind him and not getting shot down at this very moment. He's going vertical, which actually was not a bad maneuver on his part. But his attention to detail and his object permanence definitely needs some work. Because if he had turned around and tried to come at me right now, I would have a hard time dodging. Because obviously I am stalling, and the recovery for this plane is kind of slow at a lot of times, and my camera's being stupid. And so he sees that I'm recovered, I'm going back for him. Why he didn't try to shoot me down then and there, I don't know why, but he didn't. We're going to dodge the head on. We're in a higher energy state than his aircraft. We're in a better aircraft. There's no necessary need for us to take the head on in that particular moment. But sadly, he pegs it in the ground, and that's the 7th kill for that match. I almost ram an AI, and that's it for that. Now, with this match, where we obviously do not have the position, we don't have the energy advantage, What we do have is a psychological advantage. I have been watching these guys fight this whole match. I've been in and out of a dogfight with them. I have not been able to take a shot, but they're playing their planes correctly, and that's how I'm going to get this I-185 shot down. As they're playing their planes correctly, but it's predictable. My plane outturns I-185, and it's actually faster. Just not in this specific scenario. They are focused on booming and zooming where they should be a little more aggressive. Especially that P-47. The P-47 is not a great dogfighter, but against the P-51, it can stand a chance, especially at higher speeds. And right now, I am purposely letting them box me in, because I know their game plan. And I just gotta wait, slowly wait for them to make the mistake. Right now, I'm gaining altitude. I want a little more energy to combat both these guys, because eventually they will run me into the ground. It will not be fun, so I'm just buying time. I-185 is catching me, sadly, I know. But I know what they're doing. So I'm patiently waiting. I am on the defensive, and I have a trap. I am waiting for this I-185 to get too aggressive by himself. That P-47 is leaving him, and I'm going to merge with this I-185. We'll have to merge. He goes for the head-on. He shoots too late. I snap roll over him, and the P-47 is right behind me, coming in. But he's still got 2 kilometers out, and I'm going to hold my speed. I'm not going to follow the I-185 because that P-47 is coming in quite quickly. And if I would have gone up, I would have been dead. And they had tried to set this trap up for me earlier. They almost succeeded, so I knew to watch out for it. I-185 is sticking. P-47 is going away. So I'm going to stick with I-185. We're going to go for the loop. Now, I'm getting risky. This is not the safe move on my part. But when you're in such a defensive situation, you have to be risky, otherwise you're not going to get anything done. And lo and behold, I-185 goes down. And that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you later.